ourselves. Let's explore a practical example. You are in a meeting at work, and someone says something that frustrates you or challenges your point of view. The instinctive reaction might be to respond immediately, defending your position or expressing your frustration. However, by practicing silence, you can pause, take a breath, and give yourself a moment to reflect before responding. This brief moment of silence allows you to approach the situation with greater calm and clarity, rather than letting your emotions dictate your response. As a result, you are more likely to respond thoughtfully and constructively, which ultimately helps build your credibility and strengthens your relationships with others. Moreover, silence serves as a powerful tool for self-restraint. The Stoics believed that part of living a virtuous life involves learning to control our impulses, including the impulse to speak when it is unnecessary. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" This question can be applied to many aspects of life, including our speech. Before we speak, we should consider whether our words are necessary, whether they add value, and whether they align with our values. This practice helps us avoid speaking out of anger, frustration, or ego, ensuring that when we do speak, our words are meaningful and purposeful. In today's world, where social media platforms encourage constant communication and immediate responses, the ability to use silence effectively is more important than ever. Many people feel the pressure to react quickly to everything, whether it's a news story, a social media post, or a conversation. However, the Stoics remind us that there is strength in restraint. By choosing to pause and reflect before reacting, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also avoid unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. Consider the example of online discussions, where conversations can often become heated or emotional. It's easy to get drawn into arguments or feel the need to defend your opinion immediately. However, by practicing silence and reflection, you can avoid reacting impulsively and getting caught up in negativity. Instead, take the time to think about whether responding is even necessary, and if it is, consider how you can answer in a constructive rather than combative manner. This practice helps maintain your emotional equilibrium and allows you to engage with others in a more thoughtful and respectful way. Silence also creates space for self-awareness. In moments of quiet, we have the opportunity to observe our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. This self-awareness is essential for personal growth as it helps us recognize patterns in our behavior, both positive and negative. For example, you might notice that you tend to react defensively in certain situations, or that you often speak out of a desire to impress others rather than from a place of genuine thoughtfulness. This awareness allows you to make conscious changes in how you interact with the world, leading to greater self-control and confidence. In addition to fostering self-awareness, silence provides an opportunity for gratitude and reflection. When we allow ourselves moments of quiet, we can reflect on the things we are grateful for and gain perspective on the challenges we face. The Stoics believed that gratitude is a key component of a happy and fulfilling life, and silence offers the perfect space to practice it. By taking time each day to sit in silence and reflect on what you're thankful for, you cultivate a sense of contentment and peace that strengthens your resilience in the face of adversity. For instance, consider setting aside a few minutes each morning to engage in a gratitude practice. As you sit in silence, think about 3 things you are grateful for that day. These could be simple pleasures: a warm cup of coffee, the sound of birds singing outside, or a kind gesture from a friend. By focusing on these positive aspects, you train your mind to appreciate the present rather than dwell on what is lacking in your life. Additionally, silence can enhance our capacity for mindfulness, allowing us to experience life more fully. When we are constantly bombarded by stimuli and notifications on our phones, background noise, and the hustle and bustle of daily life, it becomes challenging to stay grounded in the present. However, by intentionally incorporating moments of silence into our routines, we can create a sanctuary for our minds and hearts. Imagine taking a short walk outdoors, consciously choosing to leave your phone behind. As you walk, pay attention to the sensations in your body, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breath, and the sights and sounds of your surroundings. Allow yourself to be fully present in this experience. This practice not only rejuvenates your spirit but also deepens your connection to the world around you, fostering a greater appreciation for the beauty of life. The Stoics also highlighted the importance of silence in building resilience. When faced with adversity or challenges, it can be easy to become overwhelmed and react impulsively. However, by taking a moment of silence to reflect before responding, we create space for thoughtful consideration. This practice allows us to approach challenges with a clearer mind and a more balanced perspective. For example, when encountering a difficult situation at work, such as receiving critical feedback from a supervisor, your initial reaction might be defensive or emotional. Instead of immediately responding with frustration, practice taking a moment of silence. Breathe deeply, acknowledge your feelings, and then assess the situation objectively. This approach empowers you to respond constructively, fostering personal growth and improving your professional relationships. Furthermore, silence can be a catalyst for creativity and problem solving. In our busy lives, we often overlook the power of stillness to spark innovative ideas. When we quiet our minds, we allow space for inspiration to emerge. Many great thinkers and artists have emphasized the value of solitude and silence in their creative processes. For instance, the writer Virginia Woolf once stated, "For most of history, Anonymous was a woman." This highlights the importance of reflection and the need for a quiet space to think deeply and creatively. By cultivating moments of silence in our lives, we can tap into our creativity and approach challenges with fresh perspectives. Consider setting aside time each week for silent reflection or brainstorming, free from distractions. This practice not only enhances your creativity but also allows you to develop a deeper understanding of your thoughts and ideas. In conclusion, harnessing the strength of silence is a powerful Stoic practice that helps us cultivate self-control, clarity, and emotional resilience. In a world that often values constant communication and immediate reactions, silence offers a sanctuary for reflection, listening, and intentional action. By learning to pause before speaking, practicing self-restraint, and embracing moments of quiet, we can strengthen our relationships, make better decisions, and live more mindfully. The Stoics remind us that silence is not emptiness, it is an opportunity for growth, wisdom, and peace. By integrating the practice of silence into our daily lives, we can foster a sense of inner calm and clarity, empowering us to navigate life's challenges with grace. Let us take to heart the lessons of Stoic philosophy and recognize the profound strength that silence offers. In doing so, we open ourselves up to a life filled with deeper connections, greater awareness, and a more meaningful existence. Lesson 7. Savoring the journey, enjoying every step along the way. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoic philosophy is the importance of focusing on the journey rather than becoming overly attached to the outcome. In a world that often emphasizes success, achievement, and results, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that happiness comes only when we reach our goals. However, the Stoics remind us that true contentment lies in the process, the day-to-day actions, the growth, and the learning that occurs along the way. As Epictetus wisely stated, Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy. This Stoic teaching encourages us to let go of an obsessive focus on outcomes and instead appreciate the effort, discipline, and experiences that accompany the pursuit of our goals. When we savor the journey, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of success and failure, learning to find joy in the small, everyday victories that make life meaningful. In our daily lives, we often set goals for ourselves, whether they are personal, professional, or related to hobbies. While having goals is important, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our happiness or self-worth is tied to whether or not we achieve them. For instance, think about someone training for a marathon. If they focus solely on crossing the finish line and achieving a specific time, they might miss out on the satisfaction that comes from months of training, the strength they build along the way, and the discipline they develop throughout the process. The Stoics would encourage this person to take pride in their effort and the journey itself rather than seeing success only in the final result. Focusing on the journey rather than the outcome helps us stay present and engaged in what we are doing. When we become fixated on the future and what we hope to achieve, we can lose sight of the here and now. Marcus Aurelius articulated this idea when he advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote serves as a reminder that our mindset, especially how we approach the present moment, shapes our overall experience of life. If we are constantly chasing after some future result, we risk missing the beauty of the process itself. Let's consider a practical example. You are working on a long-term project at work or school, and you've set a big goal for yourself. Initially, you feel excited about the possibility of achieving it. However, as time goes on, the pressure to succeed builds, and you start to feel overwhelmed. You begin worrying about whether the final product will meet your expectations or whether others will approve of your work. In this mindset, the joy you originally felt when you started the project fades, and the process becomes a source of stress. Now, if you apply Stoic wisdom and focus on the journey, you remind yourself that the project is about the effort you are putting in, the skills you are developing, and the growth you are experiencing along the way. This shift in perspective reduces the pressure and allows you to enjoy the process again. Instead of becoming consumed by the outcome, you can celebrate the small steps you take each day, whether that means researching, brainstorming ideas, or collaborating with colleagues. This not only enhances your overall experience, but also fosters a sense of achievement and fulfillment throughout the journey. Another essential aspect of enjoying the journey is recognizing that life is unpredictable, and outcomes are never guaranteed. No matter how hard we work or how well we plan, we cannot control every factor that affects the outcome of our efforts. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." This Stoic principle reminds us that it's the courage to act and take on challenges that truly matters, not the guarantee of success. When we accept that outcomes are uncertain, we free ourselves from the anxiety that often accompanies the fear of failure. Instead of worrying about whether we will succeed, we can focus on doing our best, knowing that the process itself is valuable regardless of the result. Think about athletes, artists, or anyone who practices a skill regularly. They spend countless hours honing their craft, often with no guarantee of success or recognition. If their happiness depended solely on winning competitions or gaining external approval, they would constantly feel stressed or disappointed. However, those who find joy in the practice itself, whether it's perfecting a technique, pushing their limits, or simply enjoying the act of creation, are far more likely to experience lasting satisfaction. For instance, consider a musician who dedicates years to mastering their instrument. Initially, the focus might be on performing in front of an audience or achieving recognition. However, as they immerse themselves in the practice, they begin to find joy in the music itself. The sound of the notes, the rhythm of the melody, and the expression of their emotions through their art. This enjoyment of the process enhances their passion and commitment, allowing them to grow as an artist without being solely focused on the end result. The Stoics teach us that the journey is where we grow, where we learn, and where we find true fulfillment, not in the external rewards or recognition that may come later. This perspective is particularly helpful when we face setbacks or failures. If we concentrate too heavily on the outcome, a setback can feel like the end of the world. We might feel as though we've wasted our time or that our efforts were for nothing. However, when we focus on the journey, we can view setbacks as part of the process, opportunities for learning and growth. Epictetus advised that we should view obstacles as chances to develop resilience and wisdom. By embracing the challenges we encounter along the way, we become stronger and more confident, knowing that the journey itself is what shapes us, not the final result. For example, if a business venture fails, rather than viewing it as a complete loss, we can analyze what went wrong, learn from our mistakes, and apply those lessons to future endeavors. This mindset fosters a sense of adaptability and resourcefulness, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease. Enjoying the journey also means being patient with ourselves. Many of us set ambitious goals and then become frustrated when progress is slow or when we encounter difficulties. The Stoics remind us that everything in life takes time and true growth happens gradually. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No matter how long you train a bird to sing, you will never teach it to sing the way you do." Each has its own nature, its own way. This teaches us that we each have our own unique path, and it's important to honor the journey without rushing the process. For instance, consider someone training for a marathon. They may face numerous challenges along the way, including injuries, bad weather, or a lack of motivation. If they focus solely on the end goal, the race day, they may become discouraged when faced with setbacks. However, by embracing the journey, they can appreciate the incremental progress they make, such as increasing their distance each week, improving their stamina, and developing their mental resilience. This perspective allows them to celebrate the small victories along the way, fostering a sense of accomplishment that fuels their motivation. Moreover, focusing on the journey encourages us to cultivate gratitude for our experiences. When we shift our attention from the destination to the process, we become more aware of the richness of life itself. Gratitude is a powerful emotion that can enhance our overall well-being and satisfaction. The Stoics believed that cultivating gratitude is essential for a happy and fulfilling life. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." By practicing gratitude, we train ourselves to focus on what we have right now rather than on what we lack or what we want in the future. To practice gratitude effectively, consider keeping a journal where you regularly write down things you are thankful for, big or small. This could include moments of joy, acts of kindness from others, or even personal achievements. By reflecting on these positive aspects of your life, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, which enriches your journey and enhances your overall happiness. In addition, embracing the journey means learning to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. It requires us to find fulfillment in our daily actions and to appreciate the lessons learned along the way. For example, if you are working on a project, instead of fixating on the final product, take time to acknowledge the skills you are developing, the teamwork involved, and the creativity you are expressing throughout the process. This shift in focus allows you to experience joy in the act of creation rather than solely in the end result. Furthermore, the Stoics encourage us to practice resilience in the face of adversity. Life is inevitably filled with challenges, and how we respond to these challenges shapes our journey. When we encounter obstacles, it's essential to remind ourselves that they are part of the process. Instead of viewing them as roadblocks, we can see them as opportunities for growth. This mindset shift allows us to approach life with greater confidence and adaptability. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Instead of becoming discouraged by his setbacks, Edison embraced each failure as a step toward success. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective exemplifies the Stoic principle of embracing the journey, as Edison focused on the learning and growth that came from each attempt, ultimately leading to his groundbreaking invention. In conclusion, savoring the journey and enjoying every step along the way is a powerful Stoic lesson that helps us live with greater peace, contentment, and resilience. By shifting our focus from the end result to the process itself, we free ourselves from the pressures of success and failure. We learn to appreciate the small victories, the lessons we gain from setbacks, and the growth that occurs along the way. The Stoics teach us that life is not solely about reaching a destination, it's about embracing the journey with curiosity, gratitude, and a sense of purpose. As we integrate this wisdom into our lives, let us remember to find joy in the process, celebrate our progress, and cultivate gratitude for the experiences that shape us. By doing so, we open ourselves to a richer, more meaningful existence where every moment contributes to our growth and fulfillment. Let us strive to embody the Stoic philosophy of savoring the journey, understanding that it is within this journey that we discover the true essence of life. Lesson 8: Simple Joys, Discovering Happiness in Everyday Moments. One of the most beautiful lessons from Stoic philosophy is learning to find joy in the simplest things. In a world that often equates happiness with wealth, success, or grand achievements, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes from appreciating the small, everyday moments that life offers us. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, believed that living simply and valuing what is already present in our lives is the key to lasting happiness. He famously wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This profound quote reminds us that joy and fulfillment are not found in the relentless pursuit of more, but in recognizing the abundance of what we already have. The Stoics emphasized that external circumstances, whether it be wealth, possessions, or social status, do not determine our happiness. Instead, they taught that happiness is an internal state cultivated by our mindset and our ability to find joy in the present moment. When we shift our focus away from what we lack or what we desire, and instead appreciate the simple things in life, we discover that beauty and joy surround us. Let's take a moment to consider the small, everyday moments that bring us peace or happiness: a warm cup of coffee in the morning, the sound of rain on the roof, a kind smile from a stranger, or the feeling of the sun on our skin. These moments are often overlooked because they seem so ordinary. However, it is within these simple experiences that we can find true contentment if we are present enough to notice them. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote serves as a reminder that our mindset, especially how we approach the present moment, shapes our experience of life. If we are constantly chasing after some future result, we risk missing the beauty of the process itself. By shifting our focus to the journey, we allow ourselves to experience life more fully, experiencing less stress and more contentment. One practical example of finding joy in simplicity can be drawn from daily routines. Imagine you are commuting to work. Instead of filling this time with distractions like scrolling through social media or worrying about the day ahead, try to engage with your surroundings. Notice the sights, sounds, and smells. The vibrant colors of the trees or flowers, the fresh scent of morning air, or even the rhythm of your breath can all serve as reminders of the beauty in your immediate environment. This practice can transform an ordinary commute into a source of joy and mindfulness. Additionally, consider the act of eating, a daily ritual that can easily become mundane. Instead of rushing through meals while distracted by screens or thoughts, take a moment to savor each bite. Focus on the textures, flavors, and aromas of your food. As you do this, reflect on the nourishment it provides and the effort that went into preparing it. This mindfulness not only enhances your enjoyment of food but also grounds you in the present moment, fostering a deeper appreciation for the simple act of eating. The Stoics recognized that the challenge of finding joy in simplicity is exacerbated by the fast-paced, consumer-driven culture we live in today. We are bombarded with messages that tell us we need more money, more success, more possessions to be happy. However, Stoicism teaches us that this endless pursuit of more leads to dissatisfaction because it diverts our attention from the present moment and the simple pleasures that are readily available to us. As Epictetus wisely noted, wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. By reducing our desires and finding contentment in simple things, we can experience a deeper, more lasting sense of joy. Let's explore this idea further through a practical example. Imagine you are walking through a park on a sunny afternoon. You could spend the time worrying about your to-do list, checking your phone, or thinking about what you don't have. Alternatively, you could take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and appreciate the beauty around you, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, the birds singing, and the laughter of children playing. By focusing on these simple, peaceful moments, you shift your mindset from one of stress or lack to one of gratitude and joy. The Stoics believed that this ability to appreciate the present is crucial for living a fulfilled life. Finding joy in the simplest things also means cultivating a mindset of gratitude. The Stoics taught that gratitude is a powerful antidote to dissatisfaction and unhappiness. By regularly reflecting on what we are grateful for, we remind ourselves of the abundance already present in our lives. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This advice encourages us to let go of the constant desire for more and to focus on the joy that can be found in the here and now. Gratitude can be practiced in many ways. Some people find it helpful to keep a gratitude journal where they write down a few things each day that they are thankful for. Others make a habit of pausing throughout the day to acknowledge the small blessings they might otherwise overlook, whether it's the comfort of a warm bed, the company of a good friend, or the satisfaction of a job well done. These moments of gratitude help us stay grounded in the present and appreciate the simplicity of life. Stoicism also teaches that finding joy in the simplest things is about embracing a life of moderation and simplicity. The Stoics did not believe in the pursuit of luxury or excess. Instead, they valued a balanced life where material possessions and external successes are secondary to inner peace and virtue. Epictetus advised, "He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing." This teaching encourages us to simplify our lives and reduce our attachment to material things so we can focus on what truly matters, our relationships, our health, and our personal growth. Imagine simplifying your life by decluttering your home or reducing unnecessary expenses. This doesn't mean living in deprivation, rather, it involves shifting your focus away from accumulating more things and toward appreciating what you already have. The Stoics believed that by freeing ourselves from the constant desire for more, we create space for greater peace and contentment. By simplifying our lives, we reduce stress, eliminate distractions, and make room for the things that bring us true joy. Another significant aspect of savoring the journey is learning to be present with the people we care about. In our busy lives, it's easy to take our relationships for granted or to be distracted when spending time with loved ones. The Stoics remind us that these moments of connection are among the most meaningful experiences in life. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to be fully present in our interactions with others, saying, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." By appreciating the time we have with the people we care about, we find joy in the simple act of being together, whether it's sharing a meal, having a conversation, or just sitting in silence. Let's take a moment to reflect on how we often engage with our loved ones. It is all too common to be physically present while mentally distracted, scrolling through our phones or thinking about our to-do lists. This disconnection can lead to misunderstandings and missed opportunities for deeper connection. Instead, by practicing mindfulness in your interactions, you can enhance the quality of your relationships. For example, during a family dinner, put away your devices and focus on the conversation. Ask open-ended questions, listen actively, and engage with the stories and experiences shared. This not only strengthens your bonds, but also enriches your appreciation for the time spent together. In the end, savoring the journey and embracing simple joys is a powerful Stoic lesson that helps us live with greater peace, contentment, and gratitude. By shifting our focus away from the constant pursuit of more and learning to appreciate the small moments in life, we discover that happiness is not found in external achievements or possessions but in the present moment. The Stoics teach us that by living simply, practicing gratitude, and being fully present, we can experience a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment in our everyday lives. As we embark on this journey of savoring the simple joys, let us remember to be patient and compassionate with ourselves. The practice of finding happiness in everyday moments requires time and intentionality. We may not always succeed in maintaining our focus on the present, but by committing to this practice, we can gradually cultivate a mindset that celebrates the beauty of life's small pleasures. Let's take a final moment to embrace the teachings of the Stoics and recognize the profound impact that simple joys can have on our lives. By making a conscious effort to appreciate the present moment, we can transform our everyday experiences into opportunities for joy and fulfillment. Remember, it is in these simple moments that we find the essence of life and the true path to happiness. Lesson 9. Gratitude as a guide, cultivating a thankful heart. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices for cultivating happiness, peace, and resilience, and it holds a central place in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that by regularly reflecting on what we are grateful for, we can shift our focus from what we lack to the abundance already present in our lives. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." This simple truth reminds us that gratitude is not just about uttering polite words of thanks. It is about adopting a mindset that appreciates life's gifts, both big and small. In the fast-paced, consumer-driven world we live in today, it is all too easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more possessions, more recognition. However, the Stoics teach us that true happiness does not come from acquiring more, but rather from appreciating what we already have. By practicing gratitude, we ground ourselves in the present and experience a deeper sense of contentment, regardless of our external circumstances. Epicurus encouraged his students to reflect on their blessings daily, stating, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This Stoic wisdom helps us focus on the good in our lives, even when we face challenges or setbacks. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending that everything is perfect. Rather, it is about acknowledging the positive aspects of life even in the midst of hardship. When we develop the habit of gratitude, we train our minds to see the blessings that exist alongside the challenges. For example, if you are going through a difficult time at work or in a relationship, practicing gratitude might involve focusing on the lessons you are learning, the support of loved ones, or even the strength you have developed through adversity. This shift in perspective helps build resilience and prevents us from becoming overwhelmed by negative emotions. Consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work. This situation can naturally lead to feelings of frustration or disappointment. While it's important to acknowledge those feelings, Stoicism teaches that practicing gratitude can help shift your mindset. Instead of dwelling on the promotion you didn't receive, focus on the opportunities still available to you, the relationships you've built at work, the skills you've gained, or the fact that you have a job that supports you. This approach doesn't mean denying your disappointment. Rather, it involves balancing it with gratitude for what is still going well in your life. This practice can significantly reduce stress and frustration, helping you maintain a positive outlook. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of gratitude, particularly when facing the challenges of daily life. He wrote in his meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This quote encourages us to begin each day with a sense of gratitude, recognizing that life itself is a gift. By starting the day with this mindset, we set a positive tone that can carry us through even the toughest moments. One of the simplest ways to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big or small. Perhaps you are grateful for a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace, or simply the fact that you made it through a challenging day. Over time, this practice helps train your mind to focus on the positive aspects of life, which fosters a sense of contentment and reduces the tendency to dwell on what is lacking. Gratitude also plays a vital role in our relationships. It is easy to take the people in our lives for granted, especially those we see regularly. However, by practicing gratitude, we learn to appreciate the small acts of kindness, support, and love that our friends, family, and colleagues offer us each day. Seneca advised that we should always express gratitude toward others, not only to strengthen our relationships, but also because it enriches our own sense of well-being. When we take time to thank the people in our lives, we not only make them feel appreciated, but we also reinforce our connection to them and deepen our relationships. For instance, think about a friend who regularly checks in on you during tough times, or a colleague who steps in to help when your workload becomes overwhelming. While these acts may seem routine, expressing gratitude for them can have a profound impact on your relationship. A simple thank you or acknowledgement of their support can strengthen your bond and make them feel valued. This practice of gratitude not only improves your relationships but also enhances your own sense of fulfillment because you become more aware of the positive connections in your life. Another important aspect of gratitude is learning to appreciate life's simple pleasures. The Stoics believed that happiness is found in simplicity, not in luxury or excess. Epicurus taught that we should focus on the essentials: good health, nourishing food, meaningful work, and loving relationships, and find joy in these basic aspects of life. By appreciating the simple things, we cultivate a mindset of abundance, even if our circumstances are modest. For example, take a moment to enjoy the warmth of the sun on your face, the comfort of a cozy blanket, or the laughter shared with friends. These moments remind us that joy doesn't depend on grand achievements or material wealth. Instead, it is rooted in our ability to be present and appreciate what we have right now. In today's consumer-oriented society, we are bombarded with messages that encourage us to strive for more. more possessions, more status, more recognition. However, the Stoics remind us that contentment comes from within. Seneca stated, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This teaching encourages us to be satisfied with what we have instead of constantly seeking more. By practicing gratitude, we learn to appreciate the abundance already present in our lives and free ourselves from the endless pursuit of more. Let's delve deeper into how gratitude can transform our perspectives and experiences. Consider a scenario where you are facing a challenging project at work. Instead of focusing solely on the stress and pressure associated with it, take a moment to reflect on the opportunity it presents. You might think about the skills you will develop, the chance to collaborate with others, and the personal growth that will come from overcoming this challenge. This shift in focus from anxiety to gratitude allows you to approach the project with a more positive mindset, increasing your overall satisfaction and engagement. Additionally, gratitude can serve as a powerful antidote to negative emotions. When we encounter difficulties, be it a setback in our career or a personal loss, practicing gratitude can help us maintain perspective. For instance, if you experience a failure or disappointment, instead of allowing it to consume you, take a moment to reflect on what you can learn from the experience and what you still have in your life to be thankful for. This practice can significantly reduce feelings of despair and help you cultivate resilience. Moreover, cultivating gratitude can improve our mental health. Studies have shown that individuals who practice gratitude regularly experience lower levels of depression and anxiety. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we create a buffer against negative emotions and foster a sense of well-being. For example, consider a daily gratitude practice where you list 3 things you are grateful for each day. This simple act can shift your mindset, making you more aware of the good in your life and enhancing your overall mood. In conclusion, gratitude is a fundamental Stoic practice that brings greater peace, contentment, and resilience. By focusing on the good in our lives, whether it's our health, our relationships, or life's simple pleasures, we shift our mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. The Stoics teach us that true happiness comes from appreciating what we have, not from external achievements or possessions. As we embrace the practice of gratitude, we cultivate a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment in our everyday lives. Let us remember that the journey of gratitude is ongoing and requires regular practice. By integrating gratitude into our daily routines, we open ourselves up to a life filled with richness and depth. Let us take to heart the teachings of the Stoics and strive to cultivate a thankful heart. By doing so, we can transform our experiences, deepen our connections with others, and ultimately lead lives that are more meaningful and fulfilling. As we move forward, let's commit to embracing gratitude as a guiding principle in our lives. Let us acknowledge the abundance that surrounds us, appreciate the simple joys, and cultivate a mindset that fosters happiness and resilience. By practicing gratitude daily, we can unlock the door to a more profound sense of peace and contentment, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with grace and positivity. Lesson 10. The gift of solitude, finding peace within. In a world that is constantly connected, where we are bombarded by notifications, social media updates, and endless streams of information, solitude can seem like a rare commodity. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that solitude is not only important, it is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being. The The Stoics understood that moments of silence and solitude allow us to reconnect with ourselves on a deeper level, providing the space needed for reflection, self-discovery, and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, found profound value in solitude, writing in his Meditations, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This quote emphasizes the Stoic belief that true peace and clarity come from within. When we take the time to step away from the noise of daily life, we can engage in introspection and cultivate a deeper understanding of our thoughts and feelings. Solitude, in the Stoic sense, does not merely mean being physically alone. It's about creating space for quiet reflection, allowing us to assess our thoughts, examine our actions, and reconnect with our values. In solitude, we can build emotional resilience and clarity, which empowers us to face the challenges of life with a calm and centered mindset. Today's fast-paced world often discourages solitude, making it uncomfortable for many. We are so accustomed to constant stimulation from our phones, conversations, and work that the idea of being alone with our thoughts can feel unsettling. However, Stoicism teaches us that solitude is a powerful tool for self-discovery and personal growth. Seneca wrote, "Nothing to my way of thinking is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." This wisdom reminds us that being comfortable with solitude is a sign of mental strength and inner peace. Consider a common scenario. You've had a long, stressful day at work, and all you want to do is unwind. Many people turn to distractions, watching TV, scrolling through social media, or going out with friends to escape the stress. While these activities can be enjoyable, they often prevent us from truly processing the events of the day or addressing our emotions. By taking a few moments of solitude, however, we can reflect on what happened, assess how we handled the day's challenges, and learn from the experience. This practice not only helps reduce stress, but also strengthens our ability to navigate similar situations in the future with greater clarity and calm. Marcus Aurelius often emphasized the importance of retreating into oneself for peace and wisdom. He believed that by spending time in quiet reflection, we can better understand our thoughts and emotions, which allows us to respond to life's challenges with more wisdom and composure. He wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But it is in one's own soul that a man finds the most peaceful and trouble-free retreat." This Stoic principle teaches us that we don't need to escape to far-off places to find peace. Instead, we can cultivate inner tranquility by regularly retreating into our own minds through moments of solitude. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is that it allows us to develop a stronger sense of self-awareness. In the busyness of life, it's easy to get caught up in external demands, social expectations, or the opinions of others. We often make decisions based on what we think we should do rather than what aligns with our true values and goals. However, in solitude, we have the opportunity to reflect on who we are and what we genuinely want. This deeper self-awareness helps us make more intentional decisions, live in alignment with our values, and build confidence in our own paths. For example, imagine you are at a crossroads in your career, unsure whether to stay in your current job or pursue a new opportunity. You may have been asking friends and colleagues for advice, but their input can sometimes cloud your judgment. By spending time in solitude, you can reflect on what's truly important to you: growth, stability, or work-life balance. This time alone allows you to filter out the noise of other people's opinions and reconnect with your inner wisdom, ultimately leading to a decision that resonates with your authentic self. Solitude also fosters emotional regulation. When we are constantly surrounded by noise and activity, it can be easy to become overwhelmed by our emotions. Whether it's frustration, anxiety, or sadness, our emotions can quickly spiral if we don't take the time to process them. The Stoics believed that solitude offers the necessary space to observe our emotions without being controlled by them. Epictetus taught that we should regularly examine our thoughts and feelings in solitude, asking ourselves, are these emotions serving me, or are they clouding my judgment? This practice helps us gain control over our emotions so that we can respond to life's challenges with calm and clarity. Let's consider a situation where solitude can be particularly helpful. Dealing with conflict. Imagine you've had an argument with a close friend or family member. Your emotions are running high, and you're tempted to react impulsively, perhaps by sending a heated text or saying something hurtful. In this moment, taking a step back and spending time in solitude can make all the difference. By giving yourself space to reflect on the situation, you can process your emotions, consider the other person's perspective, and decide how to respond in a way that aligns with your values. This pause not only prevents unnecessary conflict, but also helps strengthen the relationship. Moreover, solitude can also be a time for practicing gratitude and reflection. In moments of quiet, we can contemplate what we are grateful for, which helps us cultivate a sense of contentment and peace. Seneca advised that we should regularly take time to reflect on our blessings, saying, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." This practice of gratitude in solitude helps us focus on the abundance already present in our lives rather than constantly seeking more. In today's world, where constant connectivity is often seen as a necessity, the importance of solitude is greater than ever. It is in solitude that we can disconnect from the noise, reflect on our lives, and gain the clarity needed to make meaningful decisions. Whether it's a few moments of quiet in the morning, a walk in nature, or simply sitting in stillness, solitude offers a space for growth, reflection, and inner peace. To cultivate the practice of solitude, consider setting aside dedicated time each day for quiet reflection. This could involve creating a calming environment, perhaps with soft lighting or soothing music, and taking a few moments to breathe deeply and center yourself. Allow your mind to wander freely, letting thoughts come and go without judgment. By engaging in this practice regularly, you'll discover a greater sense of calm and clarity that can enhance your overall well-being. Additionally, solitude can be a powerful catalyst for creativity. Many artists, writers, and thinkers have emphasized the value of solitude in their creative processes. When we quiet our minds and allow ourselves to be alone with our thoughts, we create an environment where inspiration can flourish. For instance, consider how many writers seek out solitude to craft their work. In the stillness, they find the clarity and focus needed to express their ideas fully. Furthermore, the practice of solitude can lead to profound insights about ourselves and our lives. When we step away from the noise and distractions of daily life, we create space for self-reflection. This can be particularly important during times of change or uncertainty. For example, after experiencing a significant life event, a job change, a move to a new city, or the end of a relationship, Taking time for solitude allows us to process our feelings and thoughts. We can examine what we've learned from the experience and how we want to move forward. In addition to fostering self-awareness and creativity, solitude can deepen our relationships with others. When we take the time to reflect on our interactions and experiences in solitude, we can gain valuable insights into how we connect with others. This self-reflection can help us identify patterns in our behavior, such as tendencies to withdraw during conflict or to avoid difficult conversations. By understanding ourselves better, we can approach our relationships with greater empathy and awareness, ultimately fostering stronger connections. As we embrace the gift of solitude, it is essential to be patient with ourselves. The journey towards self-discovery and inner peace takes time and practice. In a world that often rewards constant activity and engagement, learning to appreciate moments of quiet can feel challenging. However, the rewards of solitude are profound, offering us the chance to reconnect with our values and cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment. Consider making solitude a regular part of your life. This does not have to be an elaborate process. Simple practices such as taking a few minutes before bed to reflect on your day or spending time in nature can be incredibly effective. You might find a quiet spot in your home or a favorite park where you can sit in stillness, breathe deeply, and allow your thoughts to settle. These moments of solitude can serve as a reset button, helping you center yourself and reconnect with your inner peace. In addition, engaging in creative activities during solitary moments can also enhance your experience. Whether it's writing, painting, or playing a musical instrument, solitude can foster an environment conducive to creativity. When we remove distractions and allow ourselves to explore our thoughts and feelings, we often discover new ideas and insights that can enrich our lives. Furthermore, solitude can provide a unique opportunity for personal growth. As we reflect on our lives, we can assess our goals, dreams, and aspirations. This introspection can help us identify areas for improvement and set new intentions for the future. For example, if you've been feeling unfulfilled in your career, taking time in solitude to reflect on your passions and values can help you clarify what steps to take next. As we cultivate the practice of solitude, it's valuable to remember that it is not about isolation. Instead, it is about creating a nurturing environment where we can explore our thoughts and emotions freely. The Stoics teach us that solitude is a powerful ally on our journey towards self-discovery and fulfillment. By embracing moments of quiet, we allow ourselves to connect with our true selves and gain the wisdom needed to navigate life's challenges. In conclusion, the gift of solitude is a vital Stoic lesson that helps us cultivate inner strength, clarity, and emotional resilience. The Stoics teach us that solitude is not about isolation, but about creating space for self-reflection, growth, and peace. By regularly retreating into moments of quiet, we can reconnect with our values, process our emotions, and gain the wisdom needed to navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and calm. As you reflect on the importance of solitude, I encourage you to make it a regular practice in your life. Set aside dedicated time each day for quiet reflection, whether through meditation, journaling, or simply enjoying the natural world around you. Embrace the gift of solitude, recognizing it as an opportunity for growth, clarity, and peace. By fostering this practice, you can cultivate a deeper, more meaningful existence that enriches your life and the lives of those around you. Finally, If you found value in these lessons about Stoicism and the transformative power of solitude, please take a moment to like this content, share it with friends and family, and subscribe for more insights. Together, let's continue on this journey of growth and self-discovery, building a community centered around calm, resilience, and wisdom. Remember, it's in the quiet moments that we often find the greatest clarity. And by embracing solitude, we can truly unlock the potential within ourselves.